Making this video because I've been a fan of Technoblade since before he had even 100k subscribers, and Technoblade was a major reason and a major help in me doing YouTube, and he kind of also inspired my content, or some of my content, heavily. He was my favorite YouTuber and somebody I actually dreamed of meeting whenever I became successful, but he ended up dying soon after accomplishing his dream. But I'm also glad he was able to accomplish his dream, but it really felt bad, and I'm sure it also felt bad to a lot of you guys who are also watching this video. And that's kind of what alarmed me about this whole LARPing situation. And as I looked into it, I kind of had more questions about it all, and that's what this video is really just me talking about. Larptubers. Now inherently, I believe I'm somewhere of a true neutral when it comes to this thing, and I believe that they're both simultaneously good and or bad for the platform, and I just want to like talk about it and get other people's opinions on it. So that's what this video is. Larptubers, they're not entirely bad actually. They pay a lot of homage and respect to a lot of some other YouTube creators, and on one part it's really impressive what a lot of them can do, where they can nail someone's editing style and match their fucking voice cadence. That actually takes skill. At the same time, it is kind of like charming a bit seeing like new content creators, like a wave of them, choosing to go after like craft imitation instead of just chasing the algorithm, but they're paying huge respect to the original YouTubers. And it's kind of like cover bands a bit, which I actually really like sometimes more than the actual original band itself. I know that might be weird, but that's how I am about it. So the whole LARP thing, I don't necessarily believe it's just a completely bad thing. I actually think it's pretty good, and like on one part it's funny as shit, which is another great thing. I don't care about a lot as long as it's funny, and it creates a whole new community just full of lively people that are like active and actually just doing shit. I really like that and I respect that, but I will say there, I feel like it's a bit questionable takes that come with it, or there's something that's a bit questionable when that comes towards that, and it forces YouTubers in an awkward position to either be a good or a bad person in the public eye, because on one hand it could really benefit the OG YouTubers by making people more accepting of their old content and wanting to go back to compare it and seeing what they missed out on it. But on the other hand, if the YouTuber feels weird about it and they wanted to like say, yo, can you chill, they might look like a villain to a lot of people. So that's a bit of a double-edged sword. And then like I also have a personal question about this shit. Whatever happens if like a LARPtuber catches up to like the original creator, do they then just try to replace them, or do they start making their own content using that person's likeness? Because if so, that's kind of odd, and I feel like that'd be kind of a bad thing. But that's just a question I have on it. Honestly, like this might just be plagiarism, and it kind of reminds me of like the whole React channel situation, where a lot of people saying React channels don't really add nuance to things, they just take credit for other people's work, which I'm somewhere in between on. I mean, again, I don't really care about it. There's just something I'm happy to notice that this is kind of similar to, but instead of it being like good React content where more is getting added and brought to the discussion, it's kind of just like, I don't know, it feels a bit odd to me just copying somebody's entire character and doing it non-stop. That's a bit odd, and making money from that shit's kind of wild. Like, you didn't put in the same amount of work, sweat, blood, tears into all of it. You just seen what they did that was successful, then said, you know what, I can do this too, and then you actually did it, which again, incredibly funny but also extremely weird. And if it isn't like a joke, what's the nuance in pretending to be somebody else? Like, if you're not like overly doing it and just to be funny, then you're just unironically copying them. And there is some bad things about this whole thing that I've seen and started wondering about too. And there's a lot of YouTubers who are either dead or no longer here or stopped, or just a bunch of shit like that that for whatever reason don't do YouTube anymore. The question is, where do we stand on doing those things? But yeah, when you're LARPing other creators that kind of just gave up or stopped doing YouTube, or for some reason like had a negative interaction with it, it feels a bit questionable. I get at one point how it's like you're trying to repay respect to that creator, but at the same time you are kind of replacing them. And if you're truly like respectful or caring of that person, I don't feel like you would be okay with replacing them. And again, this whole Technoblade situation, or technolarp, whatever the fuck, there's a couple of people who tried to LARP as him, and on one hand that's weird as shit. No, like it's just genuinely just weird as shit. Imagine like somebody you love dies, and then you go on YouTube and you see people pretending to be them. Again, you get that it's kind of, or trying, no, it like you can say that you're trying to pay respect, but that doesn't mean you are. There's other ways of paying respect other than doing that shit. Then on top of that, making money from it also, you know what I mean? Also, if you can get permission on it, then should go ahead, but can't always get permission for everybody, unfortunately. And also, look, it takes a special kind of mind to unironically be like, you know what, I'll LARP as this dead person. But I mean, I don't know, that's a bit wild. Oh, I also wanted to say, it seems a bit stalkerish to watch somebody's every move and learn how they would respond in every situation and copy that content and money towards yourself. It was kind of creepy. That's it. And also, doesn't doing this shit just flood out the other original creators and flood out other actual original creators who are going out of the way to be different? Because it's not like it's unlimited room for everybody, but you're taking space from actual content creators who are putting in unique effort by pretending to be somebody else that's already more well established. And then on top of that, it's working. That becomes a tad bit kind of weird. Again, this whole thing is just really weird, but it's also no longer a YouTube in my opinion, because especially at this point where you're no longer you're just literally copying somebody else. You know, you're not taking the time to build out your own identity, put in your own work, make sure people know who you are. And that's kind of creepy to me, that you can just pretend to be somebody's like whole character and then just like keep up with them. That shit is so weird to me. And then again, like if you manage to actually catch up to them, then do you just replace them, or do you start trying to replace them? I'm genuinely curious to see if like a LARPtuber would become successful enough for that to be an issue. And whenever that does happen, I'm so curious to see how it'll play out. Again, this isn't meant to like spread hate or anything or call anybody out. And like at the same time, I know also people just want to make money and like it's free money. But with this whole like techno larp situation and larpnoblade situation, it's just a bit weird. And then on top of that, like the guy who copied technoblade, whenever technoblade's father said no, he doesn't like it, this dude rebranded his account and kept up his old content. And that's kind of crazy. Like I love technoblade. Technoblade was one of my favorite YouTubers, and technoblade was an important YouTuber to me, especially when I had a lot of shit going on in life. One of the only things I felt like I actually enjoyed was technoblade, and that's kind of what inspired me to like think about this whole thing and talk about it genuinely. And I don't see how you can call yourself a fan of technoblade and then do something like this. And then, like, I get that it's funny, but like at what point it's just not like clocking as even remotely weird to you? And like if you have respect for them, how can you sit there and think about doing something like this? And from what I've seen about it, it didn't look like he was adding like a nuance to it either. He just kind of copied him. That was really just about it. Again, it's like I don't mean any hate towards any of this, but yeah, that was just my opinions on it. I was just curious about it. Oh, and then all of the people that's making videos on this pretending they care are extremely weird. I hate them. It's a lot of people who are pretending they care and they're covering this topic because it's trendy. It feels weird to even talk about this myself, but man, that's just scummy when I'm seeing it. I don't get it, but that's why I'm titling and naming this video the way I am, because I don't want this to be another video just harping on the techno larp situation, like how a lot of people are pretending to actually care about it. And also I want to like distinguish what I mean a bit more. There are people who aren't even into like Minecraft, or that's never mentioned technoblade or have anything to do with the community at all, talking about the situation. Not that you need to be in the community to talk about it, but it's just like obvious like drama slap channels who come in and say the most grass is green take, and they didn't want to like discuss it until moistcritikal started talking about it. And it's really unfortunate. Like, the moment moistcritikal started talking about it, everybody suddenly has an opinion on it. And unironically, I hate that mine came out that way, but I mean, I don't know, I need to be more consistent with making videos. But yeah, it feels disgusting. Again, technoblade was somebody I genuinely fucking loved, bro, and one of my dreams was to eventually become successful enough and actually meet him, but he ended up dying, so it really fucked with me for a while. I can only imagine how his father feels seeing all of this stuff go down. Let me know you guys' thoughts and opinions on this, or if you agree with me. If I'm wrong, let me know. I don't want to like bring an end to this whole larp tubing thing. That wasn't really the point of this video. I kind of just wanted to talk about it, but I love you guys.